everyone. Welcome back to All and Glow. Muchas bendiciones. Many blessings to all of you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Many blessings. Just thank you. You guys don't know how grateful I am for all of you. Okay, so last video we spoke about how I did my change and all that good stuff and a little bit about me. And I was thinking that we were going to get into the technicality as about meditation and how meditations works and all of that. But I was like, hold up. How did I get to meditation? Because there's plenty of things that happen in order for me to be able to get there, right? And understand it. So I was like, let me try to give a little bit of a background, because I think that my best reference and your best reference is actually your experiences. And just think about it, and let's sit here and open our minds a little bit. Open your perspective, okay? So why your own experiences are your best references? Because if your experiences have not been the healthiest nor the best choices for your own good, because we're talking about self-growth, self-love, self-exploring, going out there, then you have to think about the patterns that you're doing and why you're doing them and why you're repeating them. And you have to understand that life is based on cycles. So it's just a cycle. It's a cycle, and it happens and it happens and keeps happening and it keeps happening and it keeps repeating. But why? I don't get it. It's always happening to me. ¿Qué? Que siento que si lo otro. Estoy molesto. No quiero saber nada. Siempre es a mí. Always me. What the people are doing this to me? Hold that thought. What are you doing? That life is repeating the pattern and you're still doing the same behavior. When it comes down to healing, you have to analyze and you have to think, how did I act in the same scenario? What did I do? And this time, is the same situation similar? What am I going to do? Am I going to do the same that I'm always used to do? Or am I going to take charge and I'm going to be different? So that's exactly what you need to do in order to start working on your healing, okay? Because this is how I changed. And my change comes from healing. All gratitude to the universe, because it provides. You're your creator and your recreator. And once you're in alignment, the universe will provide. Sometimes you're not going to see it and you're not going to be aware that actually the universe is providing, and might be in the most sad story, the way that the universe is providing. But if you get to see the lesson, that's when you start mastering and making the change. Okay? You just have to be aware and start working towards creating the awareness. And how do you do it? You have to go back and start from scratch. So what I first understood was that I was always in the negative side, negative thoughts. I had fear of abandonment, fear of loss. I had resentment towards who damaged me, what they did and how they did it as well. So I created my own self-imposed prison. And I had to get out of there because my prison got me to a very, very awful lockdown. And my lockdown was to a point where I was sitting in a room by myself and I was not going to do the best thing that I was going to do to my life. And thank God that I had angels, because I'm going to call it what it is. People that come to you and they mean well. Not everybody that comes to your life, they don't mean well. Everybody is a lesson. It doesn't matter, unfortunately, if they harm you. Sometimes people give you the best that they can give you up until they're able to give it to you. There's nothing more. If they don't know any better, This is where you create your loving consciousness of empathy, of understanding, that they can only give you as much as they were able to because they don't know any better. Now, it's up to every single individual, create your own growth and being able to move forward and evolve, okay? So this is exactly what I did because I wanted to do it. And I'm sharing it this way, and I'm saying a lot of but this is what we're going to do. And if it resonates and is able to help you, by all means, please take it, take notes, sit there, listen to me and re-listen to me, because while I'm talking, you're going to get messages that sometimes I get off subject, and it may be something that I may be connected with someone that needed that specific message that I'm saying, okay? So when I went through all of this, I didn't even realize that I was on autopilot. I was just doing it because I was angry, because I needed vengeance, and I didn't even understand that actually I was hurting my own self. I was not even hurting everybody in my path that had done me wrong. I just went into self-destruction auto mode, okay? So when I'm sitting down in this office with the therapist, I'm explaining to her, and I spent 3 hours just talking. So if you ever feel that, why is this happening to me? How is it happening to me? Start talking about it. That's the main thing that you need to start doing, because while you're talking, believe it or not, you're going to start listening to yourself and you're going to be providing some kind of answers. Okay? So that's what happened. I came into the realization and I just went, and as I am talking, I'm listening to myself and I'm like, hold up. But I'm always blaming everybody. Why am I blaming everybody? But I'm the one I'm hurting myself. There's no one here. There's no one, again, like doing any harm to me anymore. I'm not in that situation. And then, that's when I was pulled and they told me, like, either you change or you change. And I am very, very, very responsible, and I don't want nobody to be responsible for me. And I was like, oh no, you're telling me something that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to allow and put myself in someone else's hand and become someone else's responsibility. That's not what we're doing, okay? So when I said that, that was my trigger to auto-recognize, wake up and smell the coffee and get with the program. You need to change. And it was my choice. It was my decision. My wake-up call was somebody telling me that, hey, if you don't do something, you're going to do something stupid. That was an angel right there. And I listened. And I was like, you know what? I need to change. They didn't tell me how. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to change. I know that I need to change. And I'm just going to do it. So I was in a very, very self-imposed prison where alcohol was my drug of choice. I was always not good enough. I was always feeling like I had to get everybody's approvals and always being on everybody's good side, because if not, I never want to be the bad guy and hurting and detrimenting someone else's life. Okay? And all of this came from fears, from resentment. And I didn't even realize that I was not only hurting me, but as I was doing my path, I was also hurting others in the journey. And I was like, oh, hell no, hold on. I have to take accountability and responsibility, and I have to pull back, okay? So that's exactly what I did. So I said, I have to go back. Sorry about that. I have to go back and I have to realize, where do I start? And I said, I have to find the root of the problem. Where does my abandonment issues come from? Where does my trauma comes from? What's happening there? And I had to go back to where I was a kid. Most of our traumas, most of our issues come from when we're little. I mean, it is what it is. And that's our life, and it's our life story, and we're our creator and our own recreators. And there's a reason why you created that. And you have to come into realization that you have the choice to change that. You do, okay? So I was like, okay, so I have abandonment issues. Why? Unfortunately, no, well, not unfortunately, now I know it's not. But as I was growing up, my father figure was an in and out figure, and he only gave me the best that he was able to give me with the tools that he was provided, how he was growing and all of that. That's not an excuse, no le estoy pasando la manita, you know what I mean? But as I'm learning, there's a reason why I chose that path. I chose to come to that. The same way with my resentment. My resentment came from abuse and neglect. I was very resentful because of the abuse and the neglect, and I was in this dark justice type of energy that is not good. So when you're in that energy, guess what? You're not going to attract anything positive towards your life. That's exactly what people tell you. Even if you have a thought, you have to let it go, because if not, it's going to manifest. Of course it's going to manifest, because you're not in the same frequency, okay? You're not in the same alignment. You're still thinking about the negative and how the negative is affecting you. You're not thinking about the possibility of positive, because you're not even being positive from within. That's why you have to work in the healing, because you have to turn everything that is negative in your path, you have to change it to positive. Do you have to walk away from people, places, addictions, and things that are harmful and hurting you? Yes, you do. You know why? Because that's when you start valuing yourself. Don't nobody's going to value you the same way that you're going to be able to value yourself, because when you start valuing yourself, you're going to learn when and how to walk away from situations, okay? When you know that it's not serving you and it's not being for your higher purpose, you will have the strength, because you're working on building it, and you will walk away. Even if it hurts, even if you cry, even if it kills you, it happens, okay? So let me tell you something. That's exactly what I had to recognize. What was the root of the problem? Where was it coming from? And then I had to learn about forgiveness and acceptance. I had to look for all of that and understand that, in order for me to be who I am and who I want to become, I have to change not only in action, but also in thoughts. What you think, you become. Okay, and look at Joe Dispenza. He's really, really good in understanding and explaining all of this, and the wires and how the brain is wired and how you can rewire it. Okay, so how I was looking into all of this, that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? So if you're going through all of this and you're allowing a lot of different negative behaviors and situations, let me tell you something. This is because you're lacking on something. And I am not a doctor to give you a diagnosis, okay? Hold that thought and stay here with me. I am not a doctor to give you a diagnosis, but let me tell you something. If you are in a self-destructive path, something is pulling you and holding you back, and you don't know what it is, you need to understand that you have to look for the root of the problem, and it may not be what happened yesterday. It could be what happened 20, 30 years ago. Okay? And it's your choice whether or not to be able to find the tools to create awareness and heal. So whenever the situation repeats itself, if it comes to repeat itself, you make a different choice. Okay? Because you do have the strength to be able to do it if you work on yourself. So one of the things, because I told you guys that I was going to talk about meditation and all of that good stuff. So meditation helped me a lot. It helped me to calm my thoughts. I was a person with a lot of anger, and my anger was from within, and I was very negative when I used to speak, you know what I mean? So that's the first thing that I had to start understanding and recognizing. I needed to know who I was, who I am. Am I this person? Am I going to keep on hurting others? Am I going to keep on hurting me? Am I going to still stay in that unworthiness thoughts, unworthiness style, because I'm not good enough? But people see the good in me. People tell me how good I am. How come I'm so good, but I can't see it? I don't know. Go within and search. Find tools. Believe it or not, I brought it out. Sorry, I have notes everywhere. When I started my process, this is my affirmations right here. I am. And even if you think that you are not, write it down. I am, because you will become. Okay? 100 affirmations. I am blessed. I am loved. I am prosperous. I am victorious. I am redeemed. I am forgiveness. You know why you need to forgive? Because the instant that you start forgiving, everything starts letting go. You start losing everything. And that's how you allow the process of letting go to manifest in your life. Forgiveness. Because they didn't know any better. And really, really, they didn't mean no harm. Unfortunately, they just did not know, and they didn't even have the tools. And we're all in this world, in this journey of life, to try to understand, to grow, and to evolve, okay? So, understand that life is a cycle, and you have the opportunity. And if you see a pattern repeating itself, it's because you have to make a choice. Do I pick up that bottle, or do I let it go? Oh, maybe they don't want to talk to me because they're mad at me. Maybe they just were not available at the moment, and they just were not. You know what I mean? Those are things that you need to work on, because they don't serve you. The overthinking doesn't serve you. Everything in excess does not serve you. And you need to work on it, and you need to see how you're going to let it go. Okay? So this is a little bit of what I've been talking about. So we have talked about, just a little recap of issues and traumas, and you have to take a look at that, because you have to go through the dark in order to be in the light. That's the only way that you're going to be able to move forward and push through, because you have to build your strength. Okay? Because it's not going to happen to you again. And because you're saying it, because you're secure on that. Okay? You're assured, and you're determined, and you're focused, and you're taking action to become better. Okay? So if you're in that path, come on. See what you're doing. See how you're doing it, and how you're participating in it, and how you're creating it, okay? And I'm leaving it short today, but I'm going to come back, and I'm going to recap from here to the next step, okay? Thank you very much for listening. I hope this helps and resonates with somebody out there. Dios me lo bendiga. The universe be with you. And you will see that throughout your journey, everything and everyone has been a blessing in disguise. Don't nobody's here to harm you, but to teach you. Build your strength, create your awareness, and become that powerful being that you are and you can be. And say no, and say enough is enough, because you can. Stay safe. Ciao.